Most theater shows begin the same way. You walk through a lobby, you grab a drink, you find your seat, the lights dim, and the curtain rises. It's safe, it's predictable, it's comfortable. But what if the show wants you to feel uncomfortable? What if the lights were already dim, the theater was part of the set, and by the time the show starts, you're already inside the story? We went to see a one-woman reimagining of Sweeney Todd that uses haunt techniques to turn the entire theater into an immersive experience. Let's break down how they did it, and more importantly, whether or not it worked. Empanada Loca by the Majestic Repertory Theatre was unique in a lot of ways. But probably the most obvious was how it incorporated haunt elements. The lines between haunted houses and theater are often blurred. We talk about that a lot on this channel. And yet this production made them even harder to distinguish. We entered the theater through an alley behind the iconic and unintentionally creepy Circus Liquor. As if that wasn't enough to put us in the mood for horror, the theater facade looked like the entrance to a New York City subway station. It was transportive and would have felt at home at Knott's Scary Farm or HHN. Once inside, we were greeted by drab black walls and trash-filled corridors. I kept waiting for the jump scare that never really came as I wound my way to a small black box theater with about 24 seats facing a few rusty 50-gallon drums and a massage table. The crowd sat in the dark, waiting, and then she appeared. It was quickly made clear to us that we were in the makeshift home of Dolores, a Washington Heights vagrant, who begins to tell us her sad tale of how she came to be in this situation. There were no flashbacks, no visual aids, just a one-sided conversation with a woman who somehow managed to be equal parts intimidating, interesting, and tragically empathetic. The staging lent itself to the material perfectly. The theater became an extension of the set, leaving the audience to feel like we were actually there in the subway tunnels, having an intimate conversation with a murderer. Lighting and sound were minimal, to the point where they felt invisible. Basically, every creative decision was made with immersion in mind. That immersion, coupled with the small size of the audience, they limit the show to about 25, made the character of Dolores feel more real, more alive. It helped us develop an intimate connection with her, which was a double-edged sword, as I could never really shake the feeling of being an arm's reach from someone who wouldn't think twice about killing me. While Dolores had moments when she was off-putting, Amanda Guardado, who plays Dolores, was absolutely delightful. And she was kind enough to sit down for an interview with me to give me some insight into this complicated, strangely relatable character.
My name is Amanda Guardado. I'm from Las Vegas, a local actor out there. I've worked with Troy since 2017. We've done some immersive shows together and stuff like that. He actually presented this script to me before the pandemic even. But then everything shut down. But then in 2021, we're like, we're gonna do it. And so then the first time I did this piece was 4 years ago with Troy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like this is a good 2021 piece, right? Because it's just you and like, okay, cool. So what's most, what did you find challenging about doing like a one-person show?
The most challenging part for me is the words, like remembering the words, keeping them I still read the script. If I'm not doing it, like if I have a day off, I'm reading the script or I'm listening to it, I recorded myself. That's the most difficult part. But once I got the words, once I knew the words, the rest is just so fun.
Yeah, it seems like, it's certainly like an interesting and juicy character, right? Mm-hmm. What do you want people to know about Dolores that is not obvious in the show? Like, what's something you hope people walk away from?
That Dolores is just like anyone else. And I think, she tells you the backstory and how she ended up here, and that could happen to anyone. It's like this, just having a little bit of empathy and realizing, oh, this person, fell into these unfortunate circumstances and then just maybe didn't make the right decisions and she ended up here. But she's just like everyone else, I guess.
Yeah, I also think, like many of us, there are many choices she makes that maybe they're the wrong one, but her heart was in the right place, right? Like she's loyal to Dominic. Right. She's right. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of that too. Just I think I'm just doing this and I just want to survive and it's what I've had to do my whole life and it's what I know. So that's why I'm doing it, because of this positive thing, not because I'm a bad person. And I think that could resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah. Have you found that? Have you talked to a lot of people and they say the show resonates with them?
I mean, actually, yes. And I'm always surprised because they're like, yeah, I was with you. And I'm like, really? You were with me the whole time? And they're like, yeah, until maybe this one thing that happens. And then I was like, oh, why did you do that? But it's always funny to hear, like, people like Dolores and they're on her side. And I think that, then I'm doing my job.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is obviously based on Sweeney Todd a little bit, right? Yeah. I think one of the things that's powerful about that show and why it's still sticking around is a lot of the issues are relevant today, timely, right? It's about class, it's about, right, that kind of thing. And I think this hits all those points well also. I mean...
I do agree.
You get people responding to that as well? Like, I mean, they're...
I do get people after maybe they've thought about it. I think there's so many shocking things in the show that they're left with that impression first, like, oh, wow. And then they start to think about it and they're like, oh, wait, that was totally unfair. Or like, she's put in this situation, or gentrification, or she lost everything, or like, so then I think that's something that comes up after that sticks with the viewer.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, even doing it now in 2026, I say some of the things that I'm like, oh, that's more timely now than 4 years ago, actually, or like when it was written. It feels like it's like a brand new. Yeah. Well, the writing is incredible, and we have Aaron Mark to thank for that. He's the author of the play, and it's so smart. Like, it's like I say things throughout the play that come up. It's like, even in the beginning, I'm like, please don't leave me alone. And then Luis says that later, please don't leave me alone. Or like colors come up or things. It's just like, which then made me feel as the actor, like, this story is probably true, but also, is she also losing her mind? Like, why do these things keep coming up, and why the same words, and why are things spotless? And it's like all of these little clues that are in the writing to help as well with like how much of this is like totally real and how much of this may be real to her, but maybe is a little not rooted in reality anymore. Right. And that's like fun to play with as well.
Yeah, I'd imagine there's maybe I don't want to say a bit of unreliable narrator, but it's all through her lens at least, right? It's all through Dolores. So
whatever's happening, whether it happened or not, it happened to Dolores. Like, she believes it. I'm telling you this story, and this is really what happened to me, or at least from my perception, like, this is what I feel. And that's fun to play with. I mean, we end kind of the same way. I hear like a bat, I see like a cat, like whatever, and you're like, what? That's totally, it's fun to be able to say things in one way and then say it in a different way once the story has progressed.
Amanda gave a stunning performance, by the way. It's not easy for a single actor to carry a full-length show, and she made it look effortless. The whole script involved her telling a story, but she put enough life into it that there were moments I forgot that it was like a secondhand account. Empanada Loca thumbs its nose at show don't tell, and it takes a very special actor to break that rule while being so engaging that you never really notice. The story itself has shades of familiarity if you've seen Sweeney Todd, empanadas instead of meat pies, but the adaptation managed to provide a fresh angle while staying true to the themes that make a Victorian-era story relevant to our world. Class issues are at the forefront of Empanada Loca, and much like the musical, it's the story of how the quiet violence of abject poverty begets desperation, which begets crime, which gives the wealthy an excuse to continue the cycle of poverty. It's an incredibly timely tale, and sadly evergreen. However, this isn't just Sweeney in the modern era. The gender-bent protagonist provides a unique element to the story. Seeing the differences in how Dolores experiences love and envy and unrequited affection, as opposed to Sweeney, was fascinating. The Mrs. Lovett to Dolores' Sweeney felt less manipulative and more dangerous, for lack of a better word. A good reminder for people like me that women can have similar circumstances to men, but very different experiences. Afterwards, I found myself reflecting on where violence and traditional masculinity intersect, and any piece of theater that can make an audience reflect on things we take for granted is fantastic. If you get the chance, you should go see this show. And if you don't get the chance, maybe Majestic Repertory will stage it again in the future. I mean, I hope so. This company's home is actually in Vegas, and I can see this show working there. In a city full of spectacle, this kind of intimacy probably feels radical. And if we're being honest, it was incredibly refreshing in LA too. Thanks to Majestic Repertory for having me out. The entire crew did an amazing job. And thanks to Amanda for being so generous with her time and blowing my freaking mind with her performance. Honestly, she was amazing. And thank you for watching. I love sharing my thoughts on theater, but I'm never really sure if people enjoy these videos. If you do, maybe leave a comment, maybe subscribe, like, and all the traditional ways we tell a robot that we liked a video. All of that helps this growing channel. It also helps the theaters that I review. It spreads the word about great theater, which is more important than ever. Take care of yourselves, be kind, and until next time, support your local scare actor.